By Matt, and then you.
Are you kidding?
Look at that! There we go.
That works.
And
Someone
that
is
was the best
accidentally
thing
clicking
I've
the
ever
live
told. I
button.
really hope you guys got that punchline because that was like seriously. I've been working on that one. That was like the best punchline I have ever told. Oh man, 14
We gotta
seconds
wait
in.
till the show actually starts to
All right.
tell your joke.
Are you ready, Dave?
I know. I already told the joke.
We've been live 20 seconds.
No,
I
we
know.
have.
Oh shit, we are live! Damn. I'm sure it was really funny.
It's like everybody else was in on the joke except Joe.
That might have been our best cold open.
You can't
ever.
spell joke without Joe.
Yeah, that's
That's true.
Good night, everybody.
How's the SpaceX launch?
It's dude, I left work early and I was listening to it in my car. I was doing like 300 miles an hour to get home in time. As soon as I'm pulling in the driveway, they're like, "Oh, it's canceled." Oh shit.
T-minus 16 minutes too. That sucks.
Yeah. So, try again Saturday.
Saturday, right? And then Sunday if not Saturday.
Yeah.
I don't want to be a conspiracy theorist, but it was reported that an Amazon delivery van was spotted 16 minutes prior to launch and delivering a weather machine from Amazon that was care of Jeff Bezos. So I don't.
That's where Cobra got their weather dominator.
Yes, and they reused it, repurposed it for a special delivery.
They pulled up to the launch. They're like, Alexa, lower Joe's stocks.
Yeah, pretty much. You know, it's funny. Amazon is now like the new Acme. Like when the Coyote used to get the Acme crate. Now that's new. That's like Amazon box.
That
actually would be a good marketing. I'm surprised. I need to go get a beer eventually.
That's a free idea. They can have it.
What's today, guys? What is today?
Today's Thursday, and that can only mean we're here live on YouTube. See, Dave. This time, Dave did the re-railing. What's up, everybody? We're Figure Action. If you're watching us here live on YouTube, make sure you participate in that live chat over there. We love our fans. We'll be interacting with you during the show. We've got a great guest here tonight. One of the OG Transformers video toy reviewers, Mr. Baltmatrix himself, friend of ours. Very happy to have him here tonight. But before we get into the show, I want everybody to kielbasa slam that like button for us. Really helps us out. And if you're not already, make sure you click that subscribe button and ring that notification bell. We actually have another B-side scheduled for Friday.
We do?
Saturday.
Or Saturday.
What time?
You know, when you lose track of days.
Sure. Working from home.
Yeah,
and all
plus
How
the
can we lose
holiday
track of
throws
days?
everything off.
I'm right here at all times.
Oh, I mean,
Make it Saturday.
It is Saturday.
I'm supposed to be on something else tomorrow.
well then, this Saturday we have a B-side weighing in on the Final Fantasy VII Remake. So be sure to check that out. And we gotta have like some sort of, or I should say, B-side.
Slight spoilers. I really like it.
All the way spoilers. It's been a month.
I know.
We'll do the first bit without spoilers, and then we'll warn
Technically,
everybody.
it's been a month and like 19 years.
Yeah.
I haven't started yet.
Dave, have you beat it yet?
I tried to. I fell asleep again last night. And the worst part is when you die before that one fight, it's not.
There's no save point.
Right.
Even though you hit last battle, you got to start all the way freaking back again.
Yeah. But at least you should be.
Played it yet.
We won't spoil. I'm just saying the fight before that, though, you should be an expert at by now, right?
We already got a like button liked. I'm like,
I never have to fight that.
I see 12 like.
Anyway, we've got the whole crew here in addition to our guests. So let's get the how you doings and what'd you get out of the way real quick so we can get into tonight's discussion. Starting off with the man, the myth, the legend himself, True Star Screamer. Dave, how's your week been? And did you get anything cool?
I went through a weekend of hell, retail hell from my job because we had probably the strongest Memorial Day weekend sale of all times.
That's good.
And then I thought I had a day off, and then I got a phone call saying, "Oh, by the way, why aren't you at work today?" And it turns out they had changed my schedule last week, but because of the hell of all the business this weekend, they never bothered to tell me.
So the schedule just got swapped up, and you didn't. No one bothered to. Do you have a posted schedule? Do you get it emailed to you? Do you get it?
They changed the Google document.
Carrier pigeon.
And they changed the Google document, and they didn't email or get a notification saying Google document was edited.
You should have clicked the notification bell, like all of our viewers should.
I got so many notifications from this man here and that man over there. You know.
But after all that time you spent temporarily out of a job, though, you should be you're happy to roll on, right?
Yeah, but it was just like I'm exhausted.
Yeah, tough to do. Sorry, Matt.
I was supposed to get a haircut today, so instead I still got this frickin' thing from last week. But as far as stuff as I got, I only got one major item. It was actually a 2-pack from
Shakur.
No, from Batman at the Far End, and that is I hate using the word Grail. I absolutely despise that. I technically only have one Grail figure in my collection, which is my G1 Overlord, my Europe. Yeah, I do that too, by the way. Is my G1 Overlord. That is my Grail of my collection because, it's European exclusive, things like that. But this was something I never thought I would ever get because it was a convention exclusive, and I probably failed like I don't know how many raffles getting it. And that is the Green Lantern and Predator 2-pack. I mean, I know Walmart got it, but this thing, I think it appeared like for 5 minutes in North Carolina, and one fan and one scalper pretty much picked up everything else. So I am very pleased to have these guys. I'm about to post a couple pictures I took of the Predator and of the Green Lantern on my Instagram. This is a thing of pure beauty. You can tell that this is all hand painted. I love the construct look of the weapons, and I do like the fact I made sure I put a picture on my Instagram of the fact that he does have a perfect Sinestro ring. So
I didn't know that figure even existed.
There you go.
Yeah, I'm about to put that. That's about to go on the Instagram. Yes, this was a exclusive convention exclusive because technically because NECA couldn't put out DC characters in retail stores. That's why the Turtles were initially SDCC exclusives, because Playmates wouldn't let them have them in the toy shelf until Target set up a NECA section away from the toys. So NECA did some loopholes for getting these. They had this 2-pack. They have a Batman Predator 2-pack. They have a Batman Alien 2-pack and a Superman Alien 2-pack. And the Batman Alien is supposed to be one of the best Batmans ever done, even though it's in 7-inch scale. But this Hal Jordan's cool, and he has a lot of neat effect parts, and he does come with a John Stewart head. But I mean, this is some love from NECA. And he does have a ring construct spear and a sword too, as well as an unmasked head.
So a question, if the Predator is a fear lantern, what lantern would a Xenomorph be?
Oh, Xenomorph technically couldn't be a lantern because it has no true will. If anything, maybe a Red Lantern.
I was going to say red.
Rage.
No, I disagree with that. It is technically a hive mind creature.
So the queen
the
queen could have the red.
Yes. And I was going to say violet.
Violet or orange, actually, because orange.
I wouldn't go with orange. I just wouldn't go with orange, but I would go with violet because
all they want to consume.
True, but I was going to say violet because that was going to be ironic.
Oh, true love and all. I actually put a question in some of my other groups, and I threw it actually in these guys, but these guys really didn't touch it. Would be if for some reason DC and Marvel did get absorbed, what ring would the Punisher get? Dude, tell me. Exactly.
Indigo.
You're the second person to mention that. You are actually the second person.
I would go with indigo.
I like that. Which, by the way, for those who don't know, the indigo is the ring of love because of Frank Castle's love.
Indigo is compassion.
Compassion.
Indigo is compassion.
Nightwing, I think they were saying that ironically.
Yes. No, red is.
There a Xenomorph that looked like the Joker?
There was a
Yeah.
xenomorph look like the Joker, which I did actually read the miniseries that was based on, and that Joker alien thing is nothing like what you think it was. I was actually very disappointed with that comic. So don't even bother asking about it. Just go with your own thing.
You said that was actually a xenomorph that just got into its mom's makeup and had a kind of a bit of an identity crisis and was
Actually, in the comics, what they did was a government agency took the cells of the Joker, of Two-Face, of a couple people from Arkham Asylum and spliced them with alien DNA.
I would have
That is
rather been
incredibly
spliced with
believable.
gremlin DNA.
I would have rather had an alien out of the Joker's chest. But it is what it is. But that's all I got was just these two things, but I am very happy. And as I said, I'm just finally catching up on photos.
T,
Like,
you should be proud of yourself. You
I
spread
thank
the
you
love.
so much, T, man. I greatly appreciate, especially after you found out
Oh,
someone's going to buy that thing off of you for $100.
I randomly found that in the Lego section at Walmart.
Oh, jeez, someone stashed it.
But did y'all notice my shirt?
I did.
I did.
Oh, look at that.
Oh, wow.
Where
Dude,
if I wanted,
oh, I didn't get it from the Fab Shop, unfortunately.
no,
Dog randomly sent this to me. He's been doing like graphic design, and he has a bunch of T-shirts, but he only committed one sin. And y'all should know what I'm about to say.
Yeah,
I say it at the end of every
Yep, I
episode.
see it.
I see the sin.
It's the thought that counts.
Yeah, I still love it. It made me laugh when
Is
I
that
opened
note saying Shartimus posted it first?
he sent Shartimus as his first. Sorry, man.
it. But what I got this from Nate Simmons, Mr. Stan Lee.
Are you gonna leave that in the box?
This.
Oh, you're gonna
No,
open it?
I'm
Okay.
opening it. I'm not a mint in box person.
I'm not normally either, but that box is so cool.
I don't know. It's scuffed up right here anyway. And I want to mess with it. Put them
Fair
in
enough.
dumb, goofy poses. Extra Zero was extra nice, and he sent this to me because he had too many at his house.
Next,
Are you gonna
too many
keep it?
side swipes.
Oh yeah, I'm keeping it.
That was the intention. And congrats on 16,000.
Thank you.
Oh yeah, congrats.
I forgot all about that. I'm big time. I can forget. Sorry.
That's just being old.
Big time,
Hey,
so
Pete.
much larger than
How long are
life.
you gonna be here?
Oh, he's contractually obligated to stay through the whole show now. Sorry, Pete.
And I was able to finally, at the Walmart, delay this a billion times.
Want that?
I just put up the review for the Walmart exclusive Black Widow in her
I'm
brown
not a
jacket.
Marvel Legends guy, but there's something about that figure that speaks to me.
It's the butt
It's
skull.
the hair.
Is it the butt skull?
It's the hair
I think it might
and
be
the butt.
everything.
Is
Well,
the
that-
hair
He
from,
forget
she
there
even
was
has
the jacket.
dimples.
is
you
the
see the
hair from the
dimples?
90s?
Yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
I mentioned that in my video. That I've been having a thing for short hair ever since the 90s because all these different R&B singers. Got this from Nate too.
Duke.
He's awesome. And everybody is like, well, somebody's in the comments was like, stop leaving him in the background teasing us. But I only have Snake Eyes and Duke so far. And
Destro's looking good.
Yeah.
Waiting for my boys in Wisconsin to get the case.
Hasbro started up a new line that's like a paint it yourself line. And they started with Hot Rod here from Cyberverse Deluxe.
I like to say he's an homage
cool.
to the Robots in Disguise Warrior wave, or waves.
Oh God, I hated
You know
those.
what? I don't know. This is one of the best, I think, deluxe hot rods. It just has zero paint on it.
Yeah, that
Um,
figure is actually really good, but just the lack of paint is crazy. The other thing
Yes.
about that figure that's really weird is in the box, it's mistransformed. Its
Yeah.
shoulders can actually go down just a little bit more, but the amount of force to get him to move
Yes.
initially is ridiculous. Once you do, they move fine. They actually will move fine, but that initial like click to get them to move. It's like there's too much force required here. I feel like I'm going to break the damn thing.
And so the kid has to give the toy to his dad, so the dad can feel nostalgic about Transformers. Fix it for his kid, and then he has to go up and buy a bunch of Siege figures.
Yep.
Yeah, well, he was saying it was up like this, but you
Yeah.
can move it down. But it was really tight.
I find
Maybe
if
they're just trying
you
to give you that third party feel.
if you extend the arm, you can get enough torque to do it. Like you have the arm straight out.
Yeah, amazingly, the joints are all tight except these things popped off as soon as I pulled them out of the packaging.
Yep, same thing happened to me, but I found that there's actually a point where if you push them in far enough, they will click together, and then they'll be tighter than they were.
I may have to figure that out. It took me 5 minutes to figure out how to put them back on.
Yeah, because the way they're tabbed, they've got hooks coming off of them, and they're not in the way you think they should be because of the way that they fold down as opposed to folding around. It's odd, but once you get them in there, if you just push them a little bit harder, they will click into place.
I might have to do that. Well, I will have that before they fall all apart. And Extra Zero found this for me at Walmart.
And now you can find them everywhere.
6 of them. Yeah.
Wow,
You know,
those are some bright blue Battle Masters.
Yes.
Holy crap.
They pop in person too. It's
right. Heat burn and heart. What is it?
Heartburn and heat
Heartburn and heat stroke.
Yeah.
and acid reflux.
Did I say heart stroke?
Rejected 80s metal band names.
Yeah, that color.
I'm shocked.
Nightwing and them is requesting a hammer tribute.
No, I like that Hot Rod figure.
Funny
he's
enough,
way better than that Bumblebee.
I'm not sure people know, but the Bumblebee survived.
Yeah, it did. It did.
I have a photo of myself with the Bumblebee somewhere.
That's right. I took it to that. I did take it to that TF Con.
No, it was the meetup. It was with Frisco's.
No. Right. One of the Frisco's. Yeah.
Parts Farmer, how have you been?
Oh, I was going to introduce him as a man who wears many hats, including sabotaging SpaceX launches. A parts supplier extraordinaire.
You can't pin that on me.
Always hiding his hair.
I was rooting for it. I wanted it to happen because I wanted to see the spacemen go up into space. But it didn't happen, and I think it's Joe's fault. I don't think he believed enough in Elon, and Elon knows that. I think you need to go revisit your shrine and pray some more.
That's probably what it is. I didn't spend enough hours this week at the shrine.
Yeah.
I
didn't get anything this week. I finished my beer already so early in the show, so that sucks. I got to go get another one.
It doesn't matter what you got, but how were you? How was your week?
I mean, how's everybody's week? Right? Like,
well, it's not over yet, so there's still hope.
It's not over yet. It can still go to hell pretty fast. It's not been bad. We've been busy at work, but you didn't come to hear about that. I did get 2 things this week, 2 digital things. I have Shantae and the 7 Sirens on.
Yeah.
Twitch, which I'm going to play after we're done recording here.
I just got it on Steam.
Good. Shantae and the 7 Sirens. If you never played a Shantae game, it's not surprising because a lot of people have never heard of them.
It's a platformer.
It's a platform. Yeah, it's been around for a lot longer than I thought. This is I want to say 6th game in the series, 5th or 6th game in the series.
I think Way Forward first started like 12 years ago. I want to say it was the first Shantae game.
Yeah, and they've been just steadily cranking out like these amazing games, and they're funny. Like they're really, really funny. Like laugh out loud funny.
I thought the first one was like probably one of the most technically impressive games on Game Boy Color, if I'm not mistaken. It was.
And it only got better from there.
Yeah.
The other thing I got digital was the Final Fantasy VII Remake soundtrack released on Tuesday, so I couldn't wait any longer, and I bought the digital copy.
I thought Shantae was that singer from the 90s.
Yeah, she's on the album that I bought, so it all kind of ties together. But that's it. I mean, I'm fantastic, and even better now, having joined You Fine Folk in this journey we call figure action.
Beautiful.
Next up, a man who
Lovely.
may have crab in his name, but is seldom crabby, Mr. Joe Crab.
I am
How the hell
crabby
are
this week because
You ought to check
I
his
didn't get my
pants.
space launch.
I said seldom. I didn't say never.
Yeah. Doing good. Doing real good. Got my new griddle today.
I saw.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Got it assembled. Dave, I was going to get the one that you recommended, but me and the wife talked. We wanted more griddle real estate. So
That's not a big thing. Mine was the one I recommended was a beginner's griddle. If you're not like hardcore, the one you got there, you're gonna have a lot. You're still
I
gonna have a lot of
skipped.
fun.
yeah, I
Did you
just
get
skipped
the
it.
spatula set? That's all I asked. Did you get
I was
the
like, screw it.
spatula
I'm a professional griddler. I'm going straight to the pro.
The griddler.
You
Yeah.
need.
Did you? Is it
You
a
need the
gas?
spatula
Is it a
set.
gas or electric?
It's a gas, four
Okay.
burner gas griddle.
I'll tell you what.
Ooh.
Yeah, man, the propane and the propane accessories. I need to go
Well,
buy some griddle accessories. Actually, I think that's what I'm gonna do tomorrow after
You-
work.
yeah,
I'm gonna
The dome.
instead of going on a toy hunt, I'm gonna go on a griddle accessory hunt.
You need the dome, the spatulas. You need the squirt bottle,
Spatulas, the smasher for
and
smash
the
burgers.
scraper, and the scraper.
Yeah, I did get one not griddle thing too. I got this guy, the Netflix,
Yay.
and he's really awesome. I really wish they would have fixed
The neck.
the neck and the feet. You know what?
Yeah.
Actually, the feet on this one are worse because on this one, you can't. As soon as you push the heel in, it pops right out.
See, mine's
It
okay.
comes unhinges. See it? I don't know if you can get a good enough resolution.
Yeah, I can see it.
And then if you work it enough, it'll just fall out.
You
So I
know
don't know
what?
if I can heat that up. I'm not
Joe.
sure.
Is that the his left leg?
Both of them do it, but this is his
Oh.
right leg.
On mine, his left leg does it. I didn't realize it
Oh,
until
really?
now.
Yeah, it's
Look at that, Joe. You ruined Jordan's toy. You ruined his
My
enjoyment.
toy.
well. You know what? If I'm
not
gonna be
like-
crabby, I'll make you crabby.
Hey, it's not like I don't have
So
three
you're
others.
spreading crabs to as many people as you
That's
can. Is that what
yes,
you're saying?
that's true.
It's like-
So Joe,
They make a special soap for that, so don't worry about it.
So Joe, if you're having problems with that one, I recommend this big boy. This is the deformation version of the Siege Megatron to give you an idea of the size difference.
Oh, holy smokes! Who makes that?
It's on Sir Toys' site, but it's also on eBay. They're called Deformation Toys, or AOYI is the other thing that they show up under on eBay, and it's like $20. But it's like die cast in the legs, die cast on the treads, and
Wow.
all of the problems that I had with that Siege figure are fixed here. Even the neck locks into place,
Ooh.
so it doesn't move up and down. But that does limit the ball joint in the back of the head a little bit. But
You know, I appreciate that. If someone's gonna like KO something or just upsize something, fix the problems. Don't
Yeah,
just make
the,
a one-to-one copy.
That's-
the same folks did Siege Optimus, and it's the same like size difference. Here it is again, and it's like $20, and it's totally worth it, and it doesn't have all the smudginess. Thank you, AOYI. Yep, that's it.
They're technically leader classes now.
Yeah, they're
First they
huge.
shrunk.
I think the last time we all met up, you had brought the Optimus, and it was solid.
I did bring the Optimus, and if we ever meet up again, I'm going to bring the Megatron as well. I think the Megatron also looks better at this size class. They also just released a Bumblebee movie studio series Dropkick at the same size class from the little deluxe helicopter guy. So I've been trying to get a hold of that, but everything's like, you might get it in August if you buy it from me. So I'm hoping to get a hold of it because that Dropkick figure is a really good figure. It's just so small. The transformation is so complex. It just,
Dropkick.
I wanted, I need a bigger.
Dropkick.
Lowell Martin says the size they should have been. I couldn't agree more.
Yeah.
Yes, I agree with you, Lowell.
So I have a question. That I think it's AOYI is coming out with that. Either them or whatever Black Mamba is calling themselves these days. They're doing an upscale of the leader class Shockwave with a crap ton of LEDs.
Don't tell me that.
Like Siege Shockwave?
No, Studio Series.
Oh,
Oh yeah,
Oh,
Zeus.
okay.
Did
Right.
Black Mamba or
Or Zeus Toy, or he's either named Zeus or it's Zeus Toys. It's
one of
That
those
one I'm
companies, did they
kinda
ever
tempted
do
into.
the Mad Max Megatron?
No,
Not yet.
nobody has. Nobody
Damn, I'm
has.
waiting on that.
Because I know the AOYI or Deformation or whatever they're calling themselves, they just re-released Sideswipe and Hound. They have a second rev of those two. I'm sorry, Siege, Sideswipe, and Hound. Just showed up on Sir Toys like last night.
Why aren't they sponsoring you? Dear Lord, you throw enough money at them.
So speaking of Sir Toys, do you want to? Should we talk
Yeah.
about the thing that I got?
yeah. Well. Also, we hope you're doing well.
Thank you. I am doing as well as can be expected, just in desperate need of a haircut.
I had to make an appointment with I'd gone to a stylist
Dave
for
wins.
years,
Dave wins.
and I made an appointment with the barber, and I felt so much better after going.
Yeah, it's
There's a sports cut with my name on it on its way, I swear.
we've ordered clippers because my son's hair is also getting to the point where he's like, I don't like this. I need a haircut.
And when a kid asks for one,
Yeah.
Mhm.
So back in the end of March, I put an order in at Sir Toys, and it finally showed up.
Oh.
3 figures.
I saw nothing.
The first one is this guy.
Ooh.
This is China's first live action like Super Sentai series called not Legendary Hero. Oh, it was like Space Deleter or something like that. And this is a KO
That is
of
an
their
awesome name.
first set. And I got that. And then I got the KO version of the second set, which is 2 birds and a griffin that all merge into whatever the hell this is.
That sounds like the beginning of one of my bad jokes.
Yeah.
And then, I'm sure you can see where this is going, is the third mecha in that whole set,
I've
which
seen that one
is
before.
a turtle, a dragon, and a wolf that all combine into this thing.
And then do they all combine together?
Yes, they do. I haven't done it yet because, quite frankly, the combination is supposed to be like 13 inches tall and like 9 inches deep.
Yeah, I remember
Because-
that one because of how they all kind of pagan. I remember. Yes, I do know this series. I remember
Yeah,
this book.
and I almost said Legendary Heroes, but that was a Korean series. This is, I want to say it's Space Deleter, but I don't think that's right. They only got 3 seasons in before they killed it because it wasn't selling enough toys. And I have been looking for like these sets for years. Like I've spent the last like 4 or 5 years looking for this set of 3 because they're just so stupid, and I just had to have them. But I'm glad I finally got a hold of that. And I ordered. Sir Toys also has turtle, dragon, wolf. Very cute cartoon robot. Turtle, dragon, wolf, an iconic and obvious combination.
Yes.
Sir Toys also has this set of like ultra sized, or I guess they would be bigger than leader class transformer size, 4 dinosaurs, and I ordered them, but they haven't even shipped yet because shipping out of China is a nightmare right now. But all of them are like loosely based on Beast Wars figures. It's really weird, but I got them because pretty much they're in their dinosaur form. They're just giant, and I figured it was something my son would really like to play with because he's starting to get into that. I like them as robots, but I used to only like them as cars and trucks, but I like to see them as robots, and then my dad will turn them back into a car or a truck.
it's almost like you're doing like a Penn and Teller thing for.
Yeah. He stole my Studio Series Sentinel Prime because it was a fire truck. I like came downstairs and he's just going vroom, vroom, wee wee around the entire family room, and I'm like, that's my fire truck.
It's gonna betray you.
Yeah, exactly. And that's pretty much the newest stuff I've got. I'm just looking around at the utter disaster that is my basement right now.
What's
And
the
I'm
big
sure
blue bot behind you? Other shoulder.
right here,
Yeah.
that's Omega Supreme's box.
Fair enough.
That's a vacuum cleaner.
I know that.
Nice vacuum cleaner. Is that a Dyson?
It's vacuum suck.
So I actually got that. That is a Dyson, and I got that from a.
It's also Sir Toys. It's actually a Dyson with a,
Does it have an alt mode?
I-S-O-N.
It has an alt mode of it doesn't work anymore and needs to be thrown out.
Oh, okay. So it's
Studio Series Bumblebee.
it's fancy.
Yeah, it's a Studio Series. Oh, it's a Fans Toys. Yes, it's a Fans Toys. The most,
Or it's a make toys that chips to zero and breaks as he opens the package.
No,
Make
it's
toys.
anything that chips to zero.
When you buy the quantity of things, actually, I have a question about that later, Bob, because I know you get a lot of stuff, and I don't know whether it's just luck or just the sheer quantity of things I buy. So I need to compare records.
Okay.
And Jordan,
Oh, I thought you never asked.
How the hell are you doing?
you sir, please.
I'm doing very well. We're just doing a bunch of home projects around here, getting ready for the puppy. And I had like one of those weeks where, you know, after posting about the dog coming, everybody thought we were expecting a child. So that was fun.
Awkward.
Yeah, I just posted a picture of the dog looking all melancholy, being like, "Oh, her life's about to change." And people are like, "You're having a baby?" I'm like, "Not yet."
No, we're buying a baby, asshole.
Yeah, exactly.
We found the baby.
But it's been a good week for me. Had some time to actually play video games. I've played through the campaign of Mortal Kombat 11, and
Final Fantasy 7.
I will play Final Fantasy 7.
It's become a chore for him at this point. He's not going to do it.
No, I will. I will. No, I will do it. It's just the thing is, it's like because I've been so busy. I needed to pick up and put down games. So I've been playing a lot of Tetris 99 and a lot of Mortal Kombat, because Mortal Kombat I can just like, oh, I got to do something. I can put it down. With like Final Fantasy, there's so much dialogue, and it's like it's an investment of time for me when I have things.
You don't have to read it at least.
That I'm still.
He didn't like it.
I actually really like Mortal Kombat Aftermath. No spoilers. What they do in the story is really cool. Where they pick up with it after what the events of Mortal Kombat 11. I was surprised. I was expecting to like RoboCop the most out of the new fighters, and I really like Shiva. So, she's my favorite out of the new three. Fujin's pretty cool. But yeah, I think it's definitely worth getting if you don't have any of the DLC already. You can get the complete version. As for what I got, I finally got my Fans Toys Iceman, and I was fortunate enough not to have any issues with mine. And I know people have had parts on it break. My buddy Greg from Mercy went to rotate the leg, and just like with my Goose, his leg sheared off at the joint. My buddy Chuck, he was transforming his, and they overscrewed the screw, and his sheared off right there. So I've seen so many horror stories with this guy, and I was fortunate for once to not have an issue with the Fans Toys. I finally. What's that?
So don't you badmouth fans' toys?
I know, right? I've had so many QC issues with fans' toys, and every time I'm like, yeah, this happened. People are like, oh, you broke it, and I'm like, no, I didn't break it.
But you
Fans
keep
Toys
buying
isn't
more.
Fans Toys isn't the only third party who's having issues right now.
Let's see. I know people have had issues with stress marks on that Kang Toys.
The Rampage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But not yours, Matt. Yours will be fine, Matt. Yours will be good.
Yeah.
Sure.
Oh, yeah.
Sure. We'll see. What you got in your hand right now, Jordan?
Scrap Face.
Oh, we don't play that game.
Yeah. Scrap Face is awesome. I was actually in Walmart the other day.
Something else in your hand.
Oh.
No,
I
really,
mean-
I thought you were playing with the Rhino Alien.
I mean, it could be. It could be this.
Oh,
What are you doing here, Dave? Anyway, Scrap Face is awesome. Probably the best paint job out of the Netflix line, and it's nice to have like a couple original, well, not original, but a couple new characters out of the Netflix line. We get Hot Link and Scrap Face, and I mean, I kind of count Decepticon Mirage. I got him a couple weeks ago. And I also found the two new Cyberverse figures, Grimlock and Hot Rod. And Bald, I have to agree with you from your review. This is probably the best, maybe not deluxe, but mainline Grimlock. I mean, they actually cover up his belly in Dinobot mode, and there's something cool about that. The legs are a little fiddly, but he's solid. He's painted well. He's clubbing people with a Cheeto, but I like this one a lot.
Is it a spicy hot Cheeto?
It is
Yes,
a
it is.
flaming hot Cheeto.
Nice.
that makes me nostalgic for animated figures.
Yeah, I was about to mention that.
He's kind of like animated Grimlock. He's like a miniature animated Grimlock with a
great
different
figure.
face.
That was such a good figure.
And
Well, their slag came with a Cheeto too.
it
Yep,
did.
I'm looking right at it.
And he can look all
it's
the way
been
up.
really it's been really interesting. All the Grimlocks in this whole Cyberverse line have been good. The worst Grimlock thing was not the actual Grimlock figure, was that literal garbage truck that he came with his power armor. that garbage truck was bad, but the Grimlock figure was pretty good. I mean, it was probably the best of that entire subline.
Yeah, Carter Robot says he's excited for Thunder Howl, and I agree. I think RC and Thunder Howl are probably going to be pretty good. I'm pretty excited to build McAdam too. And then TF Fan Page 101 says we need more original underrated characters as exclusives. When the first movie line came, we had all those random exclusives, and I agree. I agree.
I don't remember any of the exclusives from the first movie line. Are we talking like the like Air Raid and the Energon figures? Is that what they're referring to?
I'm probably guessing like you had like the RoboVision stuff from Target, and then the you had the premium ones that Best Buy and Target had.
Oh, like the
Swerve.
the premium Ultra Magnus and Swerve,
Yes.
and what was the Chevy Aveo that was only available in China?
Swindle.
No, it wasn't Swindle. I don't think.
not Swindle. The Aveo.
Swerve.
think
Swerve. It was Swerve.
Swindle was one of those drones.
Yeah, Swindle was the red drone from that.
And they also had
line.
like Fear Swoop. They had
Mhm.
the red. I know actually Dark of the
What
Moon.
was the tow
was one of my
truck?
favorites.
Tow line.
And they
Yeah,
also had
They had a
one-
whole bunch of characters that didn't weren't
They had
in the
Tow
movie.
Line, and they also repainted Tow Line as Hoist. As I look to that wall.
Yep.
God, I have too many Transformers.
Oh,
That's not a thing.
You have too many Transformers.
Well, let's get into our discussion. because I want to talk about you know, I know we've had this discussion at the meetups, and Ball, you were one of the original toy reviewers on YouTube.
Yep.
So, you know, I know you had said that you've got tons of stuff that you know you've kind of had to put into storage. Like, define too many toys. Because I know T runs into a similar problem.
Is over 3,000 too many?
You tell us.
I'm at 1,500. So
First off, how do you even know the number?
Yeah.
So
you count the combiners.
So I'm at 1,930 some videos. And I'm missing about 3 or 4, no, about 200 videos I've had to get rid of because of variety of reasons. That is not the entirety of my collection. Also, I still have not reviewed quite a few G1 figures. I've still not reviewed a lot of the back catalog, especially from some of the really older stuff like Gen 2. I'm still missing some Beast Wars stuff. But that's also not like just Transformers. I still have a lot of other figures and a lot of stuff. It's gotten to the point now where I have not this closet, but there's a closet over there that's completely floor to ceiling figures, and I have an entire shed off camera in my poor excuse for a backyard that is a 13 by 20 foot shed that is wall to wall tubs of figures and 2 chairs.
For the larger figures to sit in.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
You haven't sold any of the toys that you reviewed?
People don't want to buy anything right now, and like it's to the point where I'm just going to have to start getting rid of stuff. I was going to originally do like a part of my Patreon of, hey, you could just give, or I was just going to give away figures randomly, and Patreon stepped in and we're like, no, you can't do that. That's against our terms of service. And it is. You can't have raffles on Patreon.
I know Jobby.
Yeah.
Because that was Javi was one of the first people to highlight that, because he was going to do that to promote his Patreon, and I remember his follow-up video where he was actually refunding patrons because Patreon had stepped in and said no.
Yeah, they flat out have said no, you cannot do that. And I'm like, well, poop.
Yeah.
So
to say, I bought the Unique Toys Sandstorm from you, which is still in my collection. The Oscar Mayer Wienermobile Sandstorm.
Yep. Oh, I hated that thing.
But he hopes you enjoyed it.
Yes,
I did. It's still in my collection.
So it's one of these things of, it's like, I'm not sure what to do. And I was like, okay, so I was going to probably set up like a shared Google Doc of everything that I wanted to sell. And then the pandemic hit. And I'm like, well, COVID-19. So I honestly don't know what to do at this point. I've got so much stuff that I got to get rid of it. It's at the point now where,
if
like,
the local shows ever start up again, just get a table.
That's probably what I'm going to do. Is probably do that, or if we do
Baltmatrix reviews.
I hated this figure. Come buy it.
I'll hammer it for you.
Yes.
That's it. You could have a QR code at each figure that people could scan with their camera that links it to your reviews, so they could then at that point see.
That actually would be kind of cool. Forget CS Toys.
Well, I like
you-
this thing.
Oh.
Here,
Take
scan
it
this.
to the next level. Bring the hammer only. Let your fans bring their toys, and you will
Yes.
smash their toy.
But that doesn't help him out with his supply.
No, but it's like pure profit. Be a Ferengi, Bolt.
Yeah,
I'm sure
you
that's
want
like
to
the
store
73rd
problem
rule
if
of
you can
acquisition.
Buy another shed.
No. That's probably the 69th rule of acquisition.
No, we don't talk about that.
that's a different hammer.
But we do. We talk about.
That's a different podcast, Matt.
So
It's a B-side. We'll say.
I have
Kevin,
missed
our
it.
buddy
I-
Kevin Womack chimes in. You can never have enough toys. We love Kevin.
Yes, you can.
But
Yes, you
Kev-
can.
Kevin
Kev lost the Snake Mountain in his attic.
Yeah,
And he's
you would have to
finding
empty out
hot
that
toys in
shed
his
and
house.
bring everything from the shed into your house, and that would be like Kevin.
Okay,
Oh.
so I got a question for you about acquisitions and such.
Mhm.
I've been wanting to ask you this for actually years. First of all, A, it's great to have you again. You're honestly, you meeting you at TFCon for me was one of my absolute highlights.
Thank you.
It's not
You said the same thing about me, Dave.
Yeah,
Yeah, but he actually he tried to.
it's a line, Matt. Don't believe it.
No, he killed me in his TFCon wrap up. I loved it. But,
Yeah, actually, Dave was literally in my TFCon wrap up.
But I mean, you buy. I mean, I know you buy a lot of stuff. You buy a lot of stuff.
Mhm.
I mean, what goes through your mind when you buy a figure that you're like, okay, this is gonna suck. I know this is gonna suck. Here I am spending money for a toy that I know is gonna suck, and then you review it and you're like, yep, it sucked.
So that actually doesn't happen nearly anywhere as much as you might think it does. I always have hope that a figure is going to surprise me in a good way. There have been plenty of figures that I've been stoked for and have just been complete duds. Toy World Beast General is a perfect example of a figure that I was stoked for, and it sucks. It just sucks.
Well, I guess I was looking like for some like the kid, like when you're doing like the RAD stuff specifically, like the RAD warrior class stuff, which you kind of like every one of them, you're like, like he started the line. I mean,
So the warrior class was actually a lot of. I'm really hoping this is good. I think what you're referring to is the one-step changers and some
yes,
of the.
that's actually a very good. Yeah, that's a great one.
And
On that one.
another perfect example would be some of the Cyberverse line. And I've gotten to the point where I'll be honest, the Cyberverse line and some of those figures do incredible numbers, like insane numbers in terms of views. Like if you sort all my videos by like highest viewed videos, like perfect example of this is the Chomp and Stomp Grimlock.
Oh God, yeah.
AOE Chomp and Stomp Grimlock.
That should be in your boys' room.
Yeah.
That was like $100. I'm like, this is going to suck. But I'm all in. Let's buy it. Let's review it. It is like my number 5 most viewed video.
Yeah.
It's got something like I want to say it's got something like 4 million views.
Is that you think that's because
Wow.
you dipped into the kids that like constantly watch these videos, like the really young audience that would like my son watches my son finds a video he likes, he adds 10 million views himself, you know.
Mm-hmm. So the thing you have to realize about YouTube, if you've got a YouTube account or if you're hitting from a single IP, they're going to stop counting the number of views. So if like your account, if your son has an account, that's only going to be 1 view. And if he watches it again, it's just 1 view. But something that it's a little bit weird because I hit gold with that video because I was literally the only person that ever reviewed it for like the first 6 months. Nobody reviewed it, and I hit SEO gold. So that's search engine optimization, if anybody doesn't know what that means. So it was the only thing for like years. If you searched for that term, It was the only one. My video was the only one that showed up.
I had that once with my when I had my written website, because I was actually with the Cyberverse, Dreadwing, and his twin brother. I know exactly what you're talking about.
From Dark of the Moon?
No, Prime.
Okay, Prime.
I had for a while had the only written review of that.
And
Of those
I
guys.
know.
I didn't know.
Oh, go ahead, D.
I said I didn't know about that. They stopped counting your view thing. But
Yeah,
I know
so
one thing they do with the algorithm. It also depends on that. Like they'll promote some random video you made, and you're wondering why are they promoting this? But oh well.
Yep. So my highest video is the Shrine Warriors from Sir Toys.
Oh no.
And I want to say that's at 9 million at this point.
Wow.
And I am literally the only person in the world to have a video review of those figures.
So I was actually going to kind of make a point too, is that a lot of reviewers have moved away from reviewing some of the mainline figures as third party and Masterpiece have been popular, but you've kind of stuck to reviewing it all, everything from mainline to Masterpiece.
Yeah, because I'm insane. That's why.
Well, not only that, but we have people in the comments, that are Carter Robots talking about, kids do look for this stuff. You probably have parents looking for it as well.
Yes. At TFCon specifically, not the most recent one, but the one from 2018 where we all first met, or some of us first met. I had parents coming up to me going, "Thank you," because they had no idea, A, that the figure exists, and B, how to use it or how to do anything with it. Because let's face it, Hasbro has been getting worse and worse and worse with their directions. And well, that too. And I'm getting older and older and older, and my eyes cannot make out the difference between off-white, red, and gray anymore.
Yeah, at least
I'm sorry.
I said at least the latest instructions have been decent. Like what's been coming with the Studio series, what it got with Sentinel Prime, all the Sentinel Prime's instructions were
Sentinel Prime has actual missing steps. There are 2 primary steps that are missing in that one, and specifically, it's the way the hips go into the bottom or the back of the front wheels. That's just completely missing from the directions.
That's
what? That my Transformers Authentics Grimlock video, I'm constantly getting comments from parents thanking me because they didn't know how to put it together, and I'm like, this simple thing.
Well, you also have to remember, a lot of parents, they're giving them to their kids, and the kids just throw the directions. They don't even hold the directions. They just toss them. As a parent of a 6-year-old, yeah.
So I got
too. Like you brought up a good point. Is I'm a parent of a 6-year-old myself, and that us as parents, at least I can speak personally, is that if it's something that he's got that I'm looking for instructions for, I need to learn how to use it. My first thought is not to look at the instructions, is to go find a YouTube video, because it's much easier to have somebody show you in hand how to do something. And I think that's true for people generally our age for most things. If I want to do something around the house, I'll go YouTube it. So that certainly makes sense, that the paper instructions don't have to be that good anymore, because it's almost like they're relying on you now.
Yeah.
Well, another perfect example is instructions in general for a lot of stuff are just getting worse. The only company, not just toy-wise, but in general, that I've seen who instructions haven't gotten worse are Lego. Lego's instructions are the best for what they are for. I just got a media cart for my bedroom, like just something to wheel a TV back and forth and around. And the instructions were not in English. They were not in a language that I could recognize or that my phone could even translate. And they were backwards. And there were like pieces in there that weren't even in the directions. And I'm like, what? So it's not just Hasbro. And like, if you've got small kids and you've got a Fisher Price thing, some of those directions are awful. They're just terrible.
I can say that's across the board. A lot of assemblies involved in my professional job, so yeah, you're right.
A man who's assembled fire pits and fireplaces
And sofas and
yeah. So yeah. I gotta wonder, you know, if one of the next avenues for reviewers, I mean, as YouTube gets tougher and tougher for reviewers to deal with, I wonder how long before Amazon starts incentivizing folks to do professional reviews for products and monetizes it. Have you ever thought about maybe putting reviews up for mainline products on there? And Amazon does. Yeah.
Absolutely. I would do it, but there's no incentive for me to do it. There's no...
What is your price then?
You can't afford me, Dave.
Well, one question I have is, you know, when you started doing reviews,
Go out for tandem haircuts.
So back to the Amazon point, I have tried, and there are so many limitations on the kind of video you can upload because Amazon wants all of those videos that's on the side of the page or in mobile at super low bit rates, super low file sizes. I mean, we're talking like YouTube back in 2009 file sizes.
Which is crazy because AWS is huge.
Yeah, but it's weird because yes, AWS is huge, but you got to remember that the bandwidth is still they still have to pay for bandwidth.
Yeah.
And they still have to pay for data storage. Yes, those servers are there, but all of their data's and they're in data centers all over the place. Sure, they're getting sweetheart deals, but Jordan, you work in IT. I work in IT. Matt, you work in IT.
Well, see, my first thought is like if they're using it to move products and then they can put ads within that review.
Right. But they can't put ads in the review. They don't make ads on those reviews. Their ad network is through like Google and through like little ads that are showing up on web pages. They're not throwing the ads on their own product because if they do, they start to fall into publisher category and they start having to deal with laws that are
like
that would just start. No, not COPPA. COPPA has nothing to do with Amazon in the way that you might think. COPPA is specifically for tracking of minors and children under the age of 13. So COPPA is for like Google and for Amazon's advertising wing. Because if Amazon starts putting ads into videos that they're hosting on Amazon.com, there's tax stuff that's involved there. There are legal things that are involved there that they start having to get involved with that they just don't want to. And then they'll start losing on the ability to not pay taxes.
Yeah, it's like they lose their impartiality when they start
Exactly.
using it.
I was to say my thought process was like if they took like the home shopping network approach, there's probably legalities to that too.
So that's all managed by the FCC. They are not. It's weird because the home shopping network is a broadcaster, and those broadcasting laws are very, very different from the internet advertising laws, and they actually do not fall into the advertising laws the way that you think they should because they're a broadcaster hawking their own ware over spectrum that they're paying the government for anyway.
Not to mention, too, a lot of the laws that they're basing, a lot of their policies on are laws that were written back in the 70s and 80s for that internet, as opposed to what we have available.
You're talking about broadband specifically. Those laws.
No, I'm talking about the publishing stuff. Getting into all what you were talking about.
The publishing stuff is back for the 70s and 80s. They tried to do it for the internet, but it kind of failed. That's where part of Section 230 that blew up today deals with. So that's That's a whole nother bucket of fish that I don't want to get into right now.
Hey, there's a can of worms. Let's just kick it over there.
So let's go back in time a little bit. Like when you started out on YouTube, again, like we talked about, you're like one of the original YouTube toy reviewers. What inspired you to get started, to get behind a camera and review a figure?
So I actually remember this. This was back in 2006 when I was hosting TF Wire, and there was somebody in the chat who said that I was on a website with another guy. That was tfwire.com, and that was Jesse, Matrix_Prime. So we were talking about the Transformers Cybertron Deluxe Class Unicron figure, that weird tank figure that Unicron had.
That one.
And I watched.
We can't see it off camera, Dave.
Yeah, we watched this. We watched this video review, and it sucked. It was awful. It was like it was 100. I want to say it was 120p video.
Oof.
And the person was like, "Oh, so here's how you transform it. It's transform." It was bad. I'm like, I could do better. I can do a better video review. And that was my first video review, was that Transformers Cyberverse. And I haven't gotten any better since. So,
well, I would disagree. I mean, the thing is like, you go to like folks like Jobby, TF Fan Page 101 is, was reminiscing earlier about watching your original movie, like the 07 movie toy reviews, and that was their inspiration. I mean, you get a lot of feedback from folks, saying that you inspired them to do it. I mean, how does that kind of feel as an established reviewer?
It feels good, and it makes me feel real old.
Screw the competition.
Hey, I remember my first video I watched of yours, and it was for Goze Great, actually. So the Goze stuff. That's where I first came in. That's actually where I kind of actually got turned on to Super Sentai, believe it or not. And then through that, I ran into Kamen Rider, and now I got a shelf full of freaking figure arts.
You're welcome.
Yeah,
And
I'm sorry.
You make people spend money.
You did.
bastard.
I got that.
Both of you.
And so that's where I discovered Baltmatrix, and then I started having to go, because I'm like, ooh, then I got all the mechs, and I'm like, why are there Japanese names? So I start searching the Japanese names, and I'm like, oh hell, I gotta watch this now.
So actually, Super Sentai is also what kind of put me on the map, so to speak. Is at the time when I started doing Super Sentai reviews and started doing the Power Ranger reviews, I was also one of the first ones to do that, because I had all these figures, and I'm like, I might as well review them. There's nothing out right now, and I just started reviewing them and going with it, and it just kept on going. And I remember being on Ranger Board at one point, and I'm just looking through, and they're like, "Oh, Baltmatrix put up a review of this," and then I'm just seeing this entire like thread of, "Oh wow, he's the only one who does these reviews." And there was like, at the time, I was the literally only person in the US doing those reviews, getting that stuff from HobbyLink and bringing it over and shooting high-ish quality reviews of that stuff. And not for a long time, but for a good while, I was the only one who was doing it.
So that was...
Now it's like, now you could just throw a dart and find Bill in his basement doing it off his iPhone.
Yeah, once smartphones came into existence, everybody poured it.
That's actually really funny, because Android has been a dumpster fire with cameras, except for they only got really good with the Pixel 4. The Pixel 4 last year is when they really caught up. But even now, like, most Android phones are fine, but video quality is still pretty bad. And that's something that people who are just getting into the review game don't really realize, is that even if you've got a cell phone, like I've got a OnePlus 7 Pro, it takes good video until you try to export it. And when you export it off the phone, it comes out in a color space that's completely wrong. I don't know why they do it. It has been an issue with OnePlus for the past like 2 or 3 years. When you export video off it, it just looks like shit. It's awful. You have to put it into Final Cut or put it into Premiere and run this color correction over it that takes a ridiculous amount of time. And that's the way a lot of Android phones are. That's one of the reasons a lot of folks still use iPhones, is because the video out of them is so much better. But the cell phone, these things are not there yet where they can replace a DSLR, where they can replace a RED camera, where they can replace what I use is a full camcorder. Like my 1080p 60 camcorder cost me like $2,000 when I bought it. Several years ago. Now everything's like 4K, and I did a poll recently on my community channel, or my community page on YouTube. It's like, what do you want? Do you want 4K or do you want 1080p? Like 3,000 people answered it, and they're like 87% are like, no, 1080p is fine.
Smartphones killed the YouTube star.
Now hold on. I have never been a star. I'm not.
You do get referenced a lot when it comes to like the roots of the Transformers video reviews. And you definitely have inspired folks. TF Fan Page 101 has a question in there. I think this kind of relates to the toxicity of YouTube. And, like T and I have been friends for a while, and like sometimes he'll share some of the comments he gets. There's a lot of negativity in the community. TF Fan Page asked, have you ever gotten, he sees that you've gotten comments saying folks have said you're a ripoff of Javi. I guess sometimes when you reference the swivel stuff, and I do remember too back, when that Generations Rhinox figure came out, and I agreed with your review at the time. I was like, it's not perfect. It's far from perfect. And you got a lot of hate for it. Like, what's your take on the toxicity in the community and dealing with it?
I'm at the point now where it's like, whatever, just whatever. You guys, look, I'm just doing this for fun. I do this as much for fun as to make some money. Also, I'm not going to lie about that, because the figure thank you very much. I've got to somehow fund this crack habit. I mean, addiction. Hobby. And so, I end up with bad figures. I just do. There's how many thousands of these things getting produced?
Right.
They're going to be
opinions
flaws.
are subjective too. So
yeah.
Not to mention, I feel like you'd probably get condemned saying anything. I mean, it's like if you tout a big figure as bad, go ahead.
How dare you not like what I like?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. What? No, wait, Dave's over there.
You get used to it.
So I stop reading the comments after like the first 24-ish hours, because most of the comments at that point are going to be thoughtful, or I don't know how many 20 people are going to say first, or some folks are going to say, oh man, that sucks, or after that 24-hour period, and there are going to be haters. There are people that hate watch everything I do, and I don't understand it. I appreciate their view, but I appreciate the fact that they gave me a view and maybe a like. But if you look at the likes versus dislikes, I mean, we're talking like 97, 98, 99% like versus 1, 2, 3% dislike. Mm-hmm. And there have been plenty of times where there are people that most of the folks, very funny.
So, hey, someone had to do it.
Yeah. So there have been plenty of times that I have not liked a figure, but I've been trying to change my phrasing so it'd be like, look, this isn't for me. It is not something I enjoy, but if you like it and it's something you want, go ahead and get it. You'll enjoy it. That's great. And I've been trying over the past few years to change unless the figure is a piece of garbage, like a Beast General was from Toy World, I've tried to say, look, here are the issues that I have with the figure, but if you like it, great. I'm glad you like it. I would much rather somebody get a hold of a figure like you, Zero. I would much rather somebody get a hold of a figure that I did not like and be happy with it than me going, because there's nothing worth getting super angry about this stuff over. These things are not killing anyone. These things are not causing systemic racism in our society. These are toys. These are collector's items.
And escapes.
Yes, and escapes. Yeah. Exactly. The world is poopy enough that it's not worth getting hung up over. Sure, I'm going to get mad if I spent $100 on a figure and it's bad. Like, I have actually reviewed figures and just returned them a few times because it's like, look, this thing is broken. Like, a perfect example would have been Masterpiece Rodimus Prime. That figure back in the day, I got it out of the box. It was broken when I opened it.
The knees?
And the leg panels.
Oh, yeah.
They were just shattered. They were just completely broken. And I ended up never reviewing the figure because it just left such a bad taste in my mouth. But I just was like, look, guys, this is what happened. I can't review this. And I'm not going to try and get another one. Because that thing at the time was like $150.
Yeah, for the Japan import.
Yeah, and I got it from HLJ. HLJ refunded me. I was really thankful that they did. And they refunded me, and I still continue to shop with them to this day.
I don't think I ever saw it that low.
I think the thing that people kind of miss is, like, I discovered you and Pia about the same time, and probably about the time of the first movie, and I had to be very choosy with my purchases because I was a young college student with a limited income, and I just wanted to buy the figures I knew were good. You know, if you're going to buy anything, have some ideas as far as what you're buying. And I think today there's a little bit of tribalism in it. It's like, a toy I'm excited about must be good. If not, I'm going to hate on the person. If they're,
and you have to be excited about it. You have to mimic my feelings.
Or it goes on with video games too. I can't believe it. Like, when a site will give a game a lower score than anticipated, and people, I feel like people don't go into reviews for education so much as they do for validation.
Yeah.
So it's because it's just human psychology. They're invested for some reason. They are invested in those reviews, and I don't know why. I don't know why. I have been. I don't know if you guys have ever watched or heard of GiantBomb.com.
Yes. God, I'm old.
Yes. It's run by a bunch of ex-GameSpot people. And I've been following those guys since I was 16 and when they started up in 96. And their reviews just clicked with me, and I just kept with them. And I disagree with them all the time. Like crap, what was the game that they just talked about that I really liked that they didn't? I'm just like, well, that
Outer
sucks
World?
that they didn't like it. No, it wasn't that one. I don't remember which one it was. Anyway, but there have been plenty of times where I disagree. And it's like, okay, if I read a review or I hear them talk about it, okay, I see where they're coming from. I get that. I did not have that experience. And that's fine. That's fine. Oh, and just a call out to TFan page 101. That's okay. Don't worry about it. No worries. You're not calling me out on anything.
I think that a good point to make too is, like, Jordan had started this saying, with our fandom. I think all of us here kind of dip our toes in other fandoms, be it Star Wars or or Power Rangers and all, Tesla.
Marvel Legends.
Tesla.
Marvel Legends. Right. I think you could probably spend enough time in any one of these fandoms and come away thinking this is the worst fandom. I mean, Star Wars especially. Jesus Christ. Like, you want to just mention one of the movies and you'll get people fucking flinging poo at each other for no good reason. And it's just like, it's like you said, it's human behavior where they feel like you have to have their opinions or you're wrong. And I'm going to tell you you're wrong. And I'm going to, badger you
Right.
until you share my opinion.
I see T's got MP44 out, and that was
Yeah.
a figure
It's
that
illegal. It's illegal to like this.
Hey, I have no opinion on that figure because I don't want it. I want nothing to do with it. But if T is super happy with that figure, great. If you're super happy with a figure that I don't like, great. That's
Are you
fantastic.
Are you going to be interested in the knockoff that's 1-to-1 and probably fixes a bunch of shit?
Yeah, I wanna see what that is.
I think it's like
wanna see.
$100, which
And like
is a
$100
steal.
versus
Yeah.
That will
Is
get
that
you a
enough?
million views.
Is that even out yet?
No, they're still
Not yet.
working on it.
Okay.
that'll be my my movie shelf battle damaged Prime.
I was
that
going to say that's
So-
going to be my black repaint when it comes out.
So Lowell Martin said in the chat, people want their purchases reinforced. That's very, very true.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter if it's video. It doesn't matter what it is. Does not matter what it is. They want their purchases reinforced.
Yeah, that validation.
And
Mm.
yeah, that validation. Yep. And Matt, you mentioned that earlier.
Yeah, a ton of people don't even watch a review until they have the figure first.
I think it's funny to go back to like when I was collecting Beast Wars and I was trying to fill in some of the gaps in my collection. 'Cause I was younger when Beast Wars came out, and like the Fox Kids Dinobot was my Dinobot, and it's like part of me wishes I could recapture that mentality where just having some representation of a character was good enough.
Oh,
That was
I had Matchbox toy cars that were vague representations of the Transformers for a long time. Those were my Transformers. Were freaking non-transforming little Matchbox diecast cars.
When
I was like,
Armada,
make it up
when
in my head.
Armada redid those molds and they had their Armada Predacon, that was my Beast Wars 2 Megatron. That was.
And we were fine. We didn't know any better. Like that, we didn't know we were supposed to not like.
I was
that.
young and ignorant. I
Yeah.
didn't know I needed to have the exact same thing with the proper coloring, and if it didn't have,
And then the
Noob.
internet showed up with their opinions, which is of course fueled by us. Yeah.
I think I remember it best. One of my favorite interpretations of that one is from T-Man's favorite boy, Shartimus, when he first introduced the stuck-up dork when he was showing his collection.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And the guy was like, yeah, you need a little bit of work because you got the wrong X-Men team with that guy. That Havoc was in the wrong costume over there. It's like, dude, it's my shelf. I could, you know the one I'm talking about, right? I mean, it's just like,
Yeah.
like you talk with Marvel Legends. I mean, that's what makes Marvel Legends so freaking crack is because you have the wrong costume with the wrong team or whatever.
I do that now. Like TM reviews is in the comments. Like he'll show me a picture of his collection, and I'm like, pose them better than that.
Well, okay, the posing thing. Well, you know me and posing.
T playing the part of the internet for him.
When it's on your display shelf, you can't always put it in the pose you want it because eventually they just start taking up space.
39 points of articulation. A
It's
stance.
fans. That's the, you know, it's funny. That's with me with my old school Rangers. It's like, yeah, they don't have the articulation, but damn it, they look good on that top shelf that I can't reach them on anyway. So,
Do you have the
Yeah.
flip head ones? Flip head Rangers?
nah.
Somebody
Nah.
was telling me that, and I put a link for who is it? One of the Rangers that's about to come out, and somebody was like, "Oh, I got the flip head Rangers." I'm like, "What does that have to do with what I just posted?"
I miss Cerrone Games Go talks about missing the Happy Meal Transformers. I miss the Happy Meal Transformers.
I don't. Mine's right here.
Mine too.
This
Oh,
one
look.
you.
Mine says copyright 1987.
I don't care. This was a Christmas
And not
gift for my
hollow.
girl.
See,
This was
look,
a
Dave is
Christmas
playing
gift.
part of the internet right there. There he is. He's doing
And
this,
this has-
shaming you.
I
This
am
has
damn proud of
permanent
it.
sentimental value for the ones that I could never replace from my childhood.
You did replace it from your childhood. I didn't.
My girlfriend replaced it as a gift to me, and that because she did that, it meant something. Versus me going to McDonald's and saying, "Oh, where's number one? I need the Big Mac Transformer."
I'm a grown ass man and give me all my Happy Meal toys right now.
TF Fan Page 101 has another question for Balt and us. What do we think of modern day Transformers, and are they in a good place now? What could be improved?
Paint.
The plastic quality.
The size. Size does matter.
I'm not like a junkie when it comes to plastic quality. Like people bitch about Magic Square being chalky, kind of weird plastic. That doesn't bother me. It's fine. it needs to hold up the transformation.
It
just needs to not fall apart.
They were here. The plastic quality was up to here until right before Combiner Wars, and then it really started to drop. And then
I'll talk about Masterpiece, but yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm just talking about Hasbro in general. I think Combiner Wars right there, when it came to the mainline. Okay, actually, RID was the worst for me. But for the mainline Transformers, Combiner Wars was probably the lowest point, having all the hollow pieces, reusing the molds, and.
Have you gone back and played with these recently? When I go back and play with them, they feel the same as what's out right now to me. Almost.
I disagree.
Except for the ball joints.
No, and then you look at the Generations, like that Generations with Scoop and the Armada Starscream. That one had the mold, but the Thrilling 30, but the plastic wasn't quite there. So then,
I agree with that.
Those joints were popping off. But I think it was really with Titan's return, and that's when the quality started picking back up.
So Transformers is in a really weird spot right now, and it's in kind of a weird spot that Power Rangers is also starting to fall into. There are two camps. There's the collector side, which is Studio Series, Siege, Earthrise, all those stuff. And then there's the Kids series, the RID 2015, the Cyberverse, the they got rid of Rescue Bots, which was a fantastic show. Hasbro keeps trying to grab the younger audiences by making crappy toys. And RID's The Show was a Rescue Bots was a fantastic show. Cyberverse, also fantastic show. The toys aren't that good. And the problem with that is parents pick up on that pretty quickly.
Yeah.
And, parents aren't going to buy a crappy toy at $20 for a kid, even if the kid wants it, if the thing is going to fall apart after 20 minutes.
One of my last memories of walking around in a Toys R Us was a kid asking a parent for a Robots in Disguise figure, and the parent saying, "No, the last one you had fell apart." And that's a huge thing. And like I mean, I'm the only one on this panel here without any children. You guys as parents, do you run into that with your kids?
Yes.
Yep.
Or you're just like, true. No, I'm going to recommend against this.
Well, you guys have known what my kid says about certain toys, right?
I think you influence a little bit of it, though.
Yeah.
Well,
a lot of it.
When she said specifically, "Dad, why do I need an action figure for? I'm a kid."
Well, that too, yeah.
I remember my ex got my oldest son the Transformers Universe Nemesis Prime, the Mammoth. I had to transform that thing.
It's right over there.
It came in robot mode, but the instructions were from beast to robot. It took me like so long to figure that thing out, and it kept falling apart. Then, like the next day, that thing was in pieces, and it was never together again.
I wish I had a time machine to go back and tell you would be a Transformers toy reviewer.
I was wanting to be from watching Baltmatrix and PR and all them, but then I didn't get the courage until 2015, almost.
Well, the other point about Rescue Bots is that I feel like, too, that, and I think we may have talked about this before on the show, but I don't think the toys grew up with the kids. Because the show has been on for so long that you would think there'd be an evolution of the toy line, but it never did. It stagnated, and they just reused molds and kept the simple entry-level stuff.
How many times was that stupid Optimus Prime redone?
Right.
I think like 8, 9, 10. I mean, that show was on for 5 years, and the toys never got more complex.
Sure. A 10-year-old can handle a much better toy than a 5-year-old. So the toy line never reflected that.
It's so weird. Hasbro is also run by a bunch of grumpy old dudes, grumpy old white dudes who think in television. They think about television, and that's it. That's what they consider to be successful. Why is Transformers not on Netflix? I mean, everything that we've seen in terms of ratings, I keep doing air
Yeah.
quotes, but ratings is like Netflix is far and away the most watched thing in the country right now.
Yeah.
And Disney Plus is at a very far behind second place, followed by Amazon and Hulu. Like there was a graph that I saw the other day. It's like Netflix makes up 94% of all streamed video in the country, in the North Americas.
Wow.
Combined. Like the rest is.
Do we even have a premiere date for that Seed show that's coming out?
Nope.
I mean, I'm
Nope.
glad that they have
June.
toys on the shelf, but yeah, it's like they need
Odd
to.
timing.
Yeah, they need to have some sort of market synergy. Like there's no reason why the toys themselves shouldn't have like a watch starting June 23rd on Netflix. You know.
Nothing
I
is
mean-
worse than when the toys come out and you don't have a media to back it up.
Yeah, or
Have you
vice
seen these
versa.
Black
where
Widow
the-
figures, by the way?
or vice versa, because you've got.
But I
it
mean-
happened in 2007, where you had the movie come out. It was very popular, and there was nothing on the shelves. Nobody could get anything except for that first wave. Yeah, Netflix original series. When? Is there
Exactly. Yeah.
anything on there? And
Nothing.
their last original series, Titans Return.
Well, they had Titans Return, Combiner Wars, and Power of the Primes, but those were all machinima.
Yeah,
then
and
that
they were-
was-
And they were
It was
terrible.
garbage.
That show was awful. But Cyberverse is legit great. The show is a legitimately awesome show. And I'm sad that the season is over. Well, I mean, it's still just airing now, but I was able to watch it thanks to Dailymotion.
Hmm.
I think part of it is if they had put Cyberverse on Netflix instead of Cartoon Network, because like every time
Yes.
we put on Cartoon Network, it's just the Teen Titans and Gumball Network. That's
Yep.
it. That's all that plays on there. And anything else goes into a time slot of death.
And
And-
that's an interesting point, because I don't know why they continue to try and make deals with Cartoon Network.
Mhm.
Unless there's some weird deal in place that they're required to until a certain amount of time, it's ridiculous. It's just crazy. And if Netflix would just approach Hasbro and say, look, we have these studios, they're going to make it an original series, or just get the studios that did She-Ra or that did
Voltron.
Voltron.
God,
But-
imagine if Voltron got in a time slot of death and we never finished it.
Yeah. Yeah. But I really think Hasbro is afraid of growing their audience past males in this demographic and then males in this other demographic. And I think they're terrified, and I don't think they know what to do with it, because She-Ra is a bona fide hit for Netflix. And whoa, my camera's freaking out here. Hold on. There we go. I think they have a lot of folks there that are just stuck in their ways and they don't know what to do with their properties.
I think they're thinking about what Cartoon Network used to be versus
Yeah.
what it is. And that's part of the problem. I mean,
I would agree with that.
you look back at like the success of Transformers Animated, which was arguably the last successful show that was on the last successful Transformers show that was on Cartoon Network. Then they moved to the Hub, and I liked the Hub for what it was. They
No, for
really,
Prime. Yeah.
well, not just for Prime, but G.I. Joe Renegades was pretty decent too.
That was a
yeah.
good show. That was a legit good show.
And I like Dan Versus. That was a really underrated show that nobody saw, which you can now watch the entirety of on Pluto TV.
The Hub was a financial disaster for Hasbro. It just was. There's nothing you can. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. It was a financial disaster because they couldn't get any advertising.
Yeah.
Like the advertising and the viewers were not there. And they were doing this channel as everyone was cutting, or not everybody, but a lot of folks were just cutting the cord. And you couldn't stream it. I don't know if you guys know what Quibi is. Have you
Yeah.
ever heard of that?
Oh God,
I
yeah,
keep seeing that
I really want to watch
advertisement on
Reno
YouTube.
911, and
that's
Mhm.
dead in the water. That
Yeah,
is gonna
it's
be-
dead in the water because you can't share. They don't have any good shows. And again, you cannot share anything via social media. So there's no way to get virality for anything that's happening there. And the hub ran into the same problem. The reason Pluto TV is doing as well as it is because one, it got all these shows that have never shown up here in the US, and two, you've got the virality. You can grab a clip of it. You can put it on Twitter. And Quibi is just freaking dead in the water because you can't do that. And the hub was the same way. You had to tune in on terrestrial TV. And unless you had a TV capture card, you're not getting anything off of that.
or DVR.
Or DVR. Yeah.
But still, it was like that was the only way I could watch. That's how I watched my Transformers Prime, and then it was over. And then you're like,
I guess I can watch reruns of the Jeff Kline Godzilla.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? I want the people that wrote the 2012 TMNT. I want them to do Transformers.
That would be really cool. I would really like to see them do that. That 2012 TMNT series was great.
hands. That's probably that's my top 5 geektastic shows.
And
Yes.
if Hasbro has to stick with a a cable network, I was always shocked that they went with Cartoon Network after the hub over Nickelodeon, because Nickelodeon's owned by Paramount, and Paramount does the movies. So I wonder why that happened that way.
Because remember, Energon, Armada, Energon, and Cybertron, and Animated were all on there. So their height of popularity was through Cartoon Network.
Sure.
So Cartoon Network doesn't want anything to do with anything that won't be an instant certified hit. And I thought Nickelodeon was owned by NBC.
Or they're owned by Viacom.
Viacom.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which
Yeah, Cartoon-
right?
I'm pretty sure Viacom owns. I'll have to fact check that.
I think it is Viacom.
Put it on Twitter. Sorry. Not touching that. Sorry, I had to. One timely joke. That's the only one.
It's really strange, and it's like some of these companies, and it's not just Hasbro. It's not just Hasbro. They're just the biggest player. Like I don't think they really know what they want to do with their properties, but it's more than that. Transformers changes every year. Every year we're getting something completely different. But then Power Rangers changes once every 18 months to 2 years, and Power Rangers is starting to fall into the same cadence that Transformers is in, because they're starting to go after all the older fans who grew up with MMPR with the Lightning Collection.
Yeah.
And then they're also pushing towards the kids on Nickelodeon for the time that it's airing, and then that moves to Netflix. So Beast Morphers, thank you. Beast Morphers was, you couldn't stream it. You couldn't find it anywhere on piracy. Like nobody was putting it on pirate networks. It was almost non-existent except for terrestrial cable. And now it's on Netflix, and it's seeing a resurgence in people watching it.
That's kind of funny because it was on there they went through like one season, complete season, and you never saw any of the toys out. It wasn't until the last couple months that we finally got the toys out.
That's not true, because they were showing up in Target. I never saw them in Walmart. I'm sure they were, but they just kept showing up.
Not the individual Zords were only in Target, actually.
Yeah, the individual Zords were only in Target, and the box set was only on Amazon.
Did you ever review that yet?
No.
I've been waiting for that one from you.
Here it comes.
No, this is pretty cool. I gotta give Hasbro credit of just going a straight whole hog, just buy them all.
Yeah, this thing was on Amazon for a whole couple of days, and I was able to get it. I just haven't had a chance to review it.
Yeah, I didn't
I'm
know
looking
that
forward
existed.
to that.
Yeah, it's
actually
ain't
looks pretty well
small.
painted.
It is. Well, as far as I could see, it is actually pretty well
Maximize.
painted.
Here, we'll go ahead.
Unfortunately,
It's not all the Go Busters, but it's enough.
it is. It's all of them. Well, it's all of them except the lion.
And the frog.
It's
Oh,
such a
well, yeah.
cool display box. I mean, that's the shame about brick and mortar retail anymore is that like they don't want to take the chance of putting any large figures.
Yep.
You know.
Well, another big issue that retail is having, specifically with Walmart, is one, they treat their employees so badly, their employees don't care to restock the shelves.
Yeah.
Target is a lot better, but they're starting to show problems in terms of labor practices. And it's been getting worse over the past year or so as Target has been having more and more financial issues.
I have two Walmarts, the Walmart and Arbutus and the Walmart on Randallstown. Especially the one in Randallstown, there's always somebody neatly placing the toys, the action figures on the shelf. Every time I go up there, it's always immaculate. It looks like Target. But most of the other stores look like Kmart.
So it also depends on the clientele that Walmart is catering to. There is the Timonium Walmart, which is probably the nicest Walmart I've ever been to. And then there's the Walmarts near me, which are more rednecky.
Mm-hmm.
And neither of those stores are very well. They're well stocked. They're not well organized.
I had a weird experience at that Timonium Walmart. I was like filming a toy hunt in there, and I heard something hit the ground. So I turned around, and this guy was walking, and a big giant wad of cash was on the ground. So I like called him immediately. But what I didn't realize is some other people were like waiting to try to film me to see what I was gonna do, like it was a social experiment.
Oh, that's weird because there are
Yeah.
some real legal implications there.
Yeah,
That's,
I already knew. I was like, I'm not touching that money.
Everybody's got that's your first thought nowadays anyway, right? Big wad of cash on the ground. You're like, who is filming me? And what
Yeah.
TV show am I
It
on
hit
right
the
now?
ground so hard. I was like, if I noticed it while I'm filming something else, he had to have noticed that. And I remembered I seen him and a group of other random guys walking around with each other.
Styles Clash sure remembers that hunt.
As does Petridge.
Thank you, Style Clash. I mean, yeah, Clash.
Even if he is named after a move that breaks a lot of people's necks. Sorry.
wrestling.
Yeah, wrestling.
Okay.
He understood that reference.
Is that Megazord different from what it looks like in Japan?
It is a little bit smaller. Unfortunately, I don't have the Go Buster figures anymore. I traded all of the Go Busters for almost every single Mujibine I have ever owned. So that was actually a pretty good trade because those figures brought in a lot of views. But it's a little bit shorter, and it's essentially all the same bits, and it all combines the same way. They're just shrunk down a little bit and made a little bit cheaper. Or more cheaply, I should say.
Didn't the US version used to be bigger?
The US versions used to be the exact same.
Less
So,
stickers.
I'm sorry?
I think
Yeah,
like
less stickers. Yep, it used to be the exact same mold, just less stickers until Operation Overdrive. When Operation Overdrive came out, they like just chopped them off at the knees and were like, nope, these are going to be pure USA crap. And they just went like, some of the Megazords were just like, wait, what the hell is that? That Megazord wasn't even in the show.
I remember them not painting figures in the back at all. Like they would just paint the front of the figure.
Yep.
And that was That was actually like one of the most insane things. I think it was both you and MMPR reviews talking about that. Like, when you have him in the box, he's fine. When you look at him in person, ooh.
Yeah. I mean, there's nothing I could do about it. So,
you could paint him.
I think it was when Bandai America finally decided, like, it costs us less to make our own molds as opposed to licensing and relicensing them.
Yep.
And then they eventually the Operation Overdrive. I mean, for me, I think it was the Mystic Force was like the last of the good ones, and then
Mystic Force was a little weird because was Mystic Force after Was Mystic Force after Operation Overdrive?
I don't know, but the Titan Megazord is almost was a perfect translation.
I actually have to look this up because I can't remember.
But I didn't get into the Overdrive stuff. I'm just looking at my shelf right now. I've got Time Force. I've got
Time Force was so good.
Time Force.
That Time Force Megazord is one of my favorites because it's two Megazords that
Oh yeah, and they both look good.
Yeah, I've got Animus. I've got the the Wild Force ones. I mean, the last good Bandai America was actually the Dinos. Was the Dino Force.
Thunder.
Dino Thunder was a really good translation. Mega Force was a great translation. Super Mega Force was utter crap, and the Ninja Steel was utter crap.
Yes. So Mystic Force was just before Operation Overdrive.
That was the last good one.
In terms of shows, I think Jungle Fury was fine. RPM was phenomenal. I really liked RPM.
I've heard good things on that one.
That is an entire. There are only 30 episodes. It's by far the shortest, and I think that was a benefit to it because it gave the ability for all the characters to grow in a good way. Now, I disagree with that. I liked Lightspeed. Yeah, there were parts of it that weren't good, but overall, I liked Lightspeed, except for the part where they invented a ranger.
I mean, I liked
the silver or the titanium ranger was never in the Japanese version.
Right.
Vincent Lee says it was cool when Toys R Us released the Japanese mold of the Shinken O. Yeah.
Yep.
Was hoping they would have released more Japanese molds as exclusives.
They didn't sell. They did not sell at all. And that's partially because, one, it was never advertised. And two, they actually didn't keep the those special releases with the rest of the Power Ranger figures. They were off on their own section in the boys section. There was this weird like collectors section that had the original G1 Transformers, the Masterpiece Transformers, and then some of the Bandai Premium stuff. It was really weird.
So, with the Lightning collection, have you got any of that stuff yet?
I know I got some figures, but I don't remember which ones I got because I had this enthusiasm and then I got them and I'm just like, I just don't care. It was really weird. Like I had this real enthusiasm to get the first wave and then I got like one or two of the figures and I'm like, all my enthusiasm just disappeared and I don't know why.
I mean, it's like when you get them out and you can mess with them. I've tried to stay in a lane with MMPR just because I want the representations of the characters and I want to put them with my Soul Chigokin Zords. But I did get the Magna Defender when he was on clearance on Amazon, and I also got Lord Draken, and I've got the Ranger Slayer coming to me from Amazon, and they're just some of the best action figures, all around action figures I've had the chance to mess with.
I got the Lord Zed, and I think I got the Shadow Ranger. I don't remember where those boxes are.
Get Goldar.
Goldar is amazing, and Goldar is like on clearance now. Hasbro blew the budget on him. We had a chance to talk to Agent H about it at TFCon. He was a designer on that, and Oh man, that figure is just it's simply
It's
it's
worth
like
more than the $20 they're asking for.
I was gonna
yeah.
say, that's me with the Psycho Rangers. I freaking love those. The Psycho
Yeah.
Ranger figures are beautiful, and
And I
like
think
said,
if you
one is looking great.
if you get them and you mess with them, they might reinvigorate the interest there because they're really unexpected. Like they don't look like much in the box. You get them out and mess with them, and they're actually more than meets the eye.
The thing
'Cause
I'm
Hasbro
waiting
owns
for,
them.
haha.
Yeah.
The thing I'm waiting for is there's supposedly more Zords coming with
Yes.
better articulation. And I really want to see what Hasbro does there. Because, like, I know we've already gotten the it's not the Legacy. Is it the Legacy? Yeah, the Legacy figures. And
Yep.
they've been okay. They were fine.
These are so
But-
much better than Legacy.
I really want to see what Hasbro can do with some better figures and some better engineering, because, and this is something that I've actually talked about to a couple of other folks and to Vangelis over at the TFW 2005, is that I got the Kira Major figures because I was super interested in them. They look really cool. They're fun. They're a lot of fun, but they're not moving forward technology-wise. They still have the authentication, the articulation of a brick, and it's like, come on, guys, it's 2020. I know you want to stay in a certain lane, but I mean, I think it was a Shuki posted a picture of the Kira Major main set and this brand new set that is like it's two vehicles that combine into one robot that is super articulated. And he's like, these cost the same. And I'm like, okay, there's something there for everybody, but we need more articulation in some of these figures. I mean, yeah, they're fun. There's history there, but they sure as hell don't move like they do on TV or on your computer screen.
Mark 44 says we might be getting a Cyclopsis. We kind of got some information about Rita at TFCon.
Yeah, we did.
So
I remember you telling me that, Zero.
Yeah, and then people are in line like, Rita's coming? I was like, I didn't say that. Now, one of the toy lines that you introduced me to, both through your reviews and you've brought on the meetups, is Tobot. Yep. And I know you've really talked about how awesome that series is. Do you think that would be something that Hasbro and other companies really could take some cues from?
So Young Toy, I think it's Young Toys.
Young Toys, yeah.
They have actually been at multiple toy fairs trying to get those into the U.S., and they failed each time. They've tried like 4 or 5 times. And
really?
Yeah, it's because they're too expensive. Walmart will not buy them because they are just too dang expensive. Because you got to remember,
the plastic's really good.
The plastic is fantastic. They are phenomenal figures, but they're so expensive. They are so bloody expensive to get over to the US. Like the that combination set that you saw, Zero, there was like 5 different figures.
Yeah,
that was like $300.
Wow.
Whoa.
You know, it's kind of funny though, because I was talking to my grandmother the other day, and she was talking to me about when I was a little boy, and I talked my grandfather into buying Power Master Prime. And she's like, "Yeah, you weaseled him into, how much you needed an Optimus Prime, and went to go ring it up, and it was $30." And I'm thinking to myself, $30. But then I'm also thinking like that was 1989 money.
Right.
Yeah,
and
I specifically remember my dad buying Scorponok for me, and it was in 1987, and it was $45. In 1987 money, and I'm like, how expensive was that?
So yeah, in today's money, Power Master Prime would have been $62.03.
My grandma bought that for me, and she told me over the phone she got me Optimus Prime when I was thinking the original Optimus Prime. So I was like, yay, happy, but not happy because I wanted the original Optimus. Then I broke the daggone thing. You know, the hitch always got stuck in his foot and broke.
Mm-hmm.
So I just kind of wonder about that. And you know, we talked about this a little bit earlier with the quality of toys going down, trying to sustain price points. If toys didn't break the way they did, if they were made better, if they were, you know, Tonka tough, so to speak, you think that consumer confidence would have parents buying more toys for their kids?
Probably not.
No. Hate to say it, we probably buy more out from under the kids than
Well,
the
little
kids
bastards
do.
got to fight more for it, then, don't they?
Well, seriously, like, come on. You look at the section. You look at the Marvel Legends. We go there. Hey, there's a full wave. Then the collectors hit there, and they never get refilled again.
Well, yeah, the kids get the scraps. They get the you know, what
They
the
get the
collectors
Bumblebees.
aren't buying. Yeah.
My experience
Well,
when
the
I'm
kids
in
getting
a,
Astro Train for Christmas now.
I don't think it's necessarily the overall quality. It's just they need to get the difference between the good ones, like these, like this guy, and the bottom, and close that gap, because the same line that does something like this and Shockwave will also make ridiculous errors in articulation like that and like this. Not that this is a bad figure. It looks awesome.
in my experience when I'm in a toy aisle, parents are cheap. Like they'll buy the $10 Titan Heroes or something like that, but they don't want to spend the $20 on the Marvel Legends.
Well, and you got to think too with character recognition. Like, why am I going to spend $30 on this Megatron when this is a $5 Megatron over here? That's not. It's the same to them.
Mm-hmm. You already got
me.
that. Is something I always hear. You already got that one.
Yeah.
The kid is like, I don't have that.
It's really fun though. You see some kid complaining about the toys, and you just walk in, and you buy the entire wave in front of them.
I mean, Nightwing says kids want toys, and it's a tough
Not as
question.
much, no.
They want Fortnite videos on YouTube, and they never play the game.
So, Ball, I gotta wonder, like, you know, is your son interested in toys because you're in, you know, you do the reviews, or does he take any interest on his own, or things that you're not interested in?
So he's very much into cars and trucks and things that move, and he's very much into going out and throwing a frisbee around.
Nice.
And he likes to run around, and I'm very much not that, but I still go out with him because I mean I want to spend time with my son, but he also likes video games, and he's already started like gravitating to stuff that's on a cell phone already.
Mm-hmm.
And when he was younger, he wanted some Paw Patrol toys, so we got him a few Paw Patrol toys. And then he wanted some trains, we got him some trains. He's actually gravitated to things that aren't based on properties. The only thing that he's really interested in stuff that's being based on properties now is Nintendo stuff, because he loves Mario Kart. He loves Mario Party. He loves playing anything on anything Nintendo wise. He likes watching speed runs of Nintendo games. It's more of the stuff that is not on the television. It's more of stuff that's like part of a video game that he's getting into, and he likes Clifford, and he likes stuff that's in his books, but he's not into, like, he likes the Transformers. He's like, sometimes he likes seeing things as a robot, but I've got ROTF Devastator over there in the construction forums, and he's always like, can I play with the construction stuff? And I'm like, no, I haven't shot a video of that yet. He's like, oh. And he's more interested, as I said earlier, he's way more interested in things as cars and trucks and tanks and planes. He doesn't really care about the robot part. He thinks it's neat, but he's much more into the vehicle component. And he's growing up in a time where he has the access, or he's going to have access to infinite entertainment.
That's true. I mean,
And none of us had that growing up.
No, we didn't.
And there's a mentality too, especially at least with my son, where like the Transformers are not for him; they're Dad's thing. There's like that separation in his mind, since because there, I have a select few Transformers down in the basement that he's not allowed to mess with, and then there's a bunch that I willingly give him for my collection, saying, "Here, man, mess with them," or we buy him toys out, Transformer toys, and try to get him on that with rescue bots and all that. But that's in his mind, that Transformer bubble is for Daddy. Is for
the action figures Dad's.
Because I know I donated that the Cyberverse Ultra Optimus and Megatron.
I love it.
Like, I know you love them. Beef Tank.
Well, thanks.
Oh, well, hey, I was talking about Megatron.
Sure.
But yeah, there he is. Yeah, and I was like, you know what? This isn't for me, but maybe Matt's gonna like it. And it was kind of
So,
my cousin's good.
So my son loves Beef Tank and he loves the Optimus, but he likes them in their vehicle modes. He really doesn't care about the robot modes.
And I'll tell you too, I know we've had this talk before. Maybe I've had it with some of you guys on the sidebar, but someone in the comments earlier said something about putting articulation back in toys. I've said this a couple of times, as for at least exposure to my son, the short period of time that he was into Transformers and actually transforming them, the less articulation in the figure, the better for him. Because, again, and I've said this before, when he stands a figure up, he wants it to stand there. He doesn't want the knees to bend. He's not looking for ab crunch. Like, that's all shit that gets in the way of this figure standing straight and him playing with it.
Yep.
So we go on the shelf and be like, why does this $10 figure not have this basic articulation? Because that's not what they want all the time.
I was thinking the other day, I was like, maybe I was wrong about Armada back in the day. Maybe Armada was the sweet spot. It was good quality plastic. The gimmicks were there.
That was me as Cyberverse.
Lights and sound.
Not Cyberverse, but Cybertron.
When Fans Hobby was showing off the Megatron, I was like, does he have the slidey switchblade gimmick? And I was like, damn it. I actually did like that.
So after becoming a parent, I've got this new appreciation for some of the simpler figures, like Matt was saying. Yeah, my son, he does not want articulation. If the arms move, that's fine.
Yeah.
And I think that kind of also speaks to why Power Rangers and why Super Sentai have not improved their articulation, is because kids don't really want it.
Mm-mm.
No. I was the opposite when I was little. When I was 6 and I got G1 Transformers, I wanted them to move like the show. And I used to always disappoint me, and that's why I ended up with all these.
I wonder if it's a thing that comes with age, though. Because I remember being a kid, and I had the same mindset as you, but it started to become more prevalent as I got older. And like when Beast Wars was coming out, I was supposed to be getting too old for toys, but I was drawn to Beast Wars because they had the articulation that the older figures didn't have. It seemed to be an evolution.
My issue with those original Beast Wars figures is that they did not look anything like they did on the show.
Yeah, to an extent. I mean, you had some that were show accurate, like you had Inferno.
Mm-hmm.
But still, I remember just like seeing like the ball, and at the time, ball joints were innovative.
Yeah, that was the big innovation at that time.
Yeah, and just thinking to myself, these are really cool, and kind of getting a bunch of them in secret. Where my family was like, you a little too old for toys, and like, no,
it could have been crack cocaine.
Exactly. If only I had that wit back then.
It's better than crack cocaine and cocaine accessories.
Well, I'll tell you what.
I like that. I'm stealing that.
I
Okay.
can't believe you don't already use that in your sales pitches, Dave. Come on,
And
man.
I mean, now we have figures
Adam.
where the fingers even move, and it's
No, now we have figures now where we bitch about how the fingers move. Like that.
You're absolutely
Ooh.
right.
Or the fact that the fingers
Right.
don't, stay on.
That too. All right. I guess I'll open it up to the chat. Does anybody have any questions for Balt? I know we've had a lot from TF Fan Page 101 and Carter Robot.
We have a delay. Don't forget, we have a
Wait,
delay.
we do have a delay.
Yeah, and if anybody asked a question earlier that we missed or didn't didn't address, we may either have missed it or just don't like it.
I don't know. Nightwing has been behaving tonight
Yeah, he sounded feisty about a couple of things, but he's been
at the beginning.
at the beginning. You think you think he's just sleepy?
TF Fan Page says, I think it was just the market getting so heavily oversaturated with gimmicky, simple toys a few years ago that felt shoved off when a certain character in the line. All depends. I think a lot of it.
wanted to transform.
Well, I think a lot of it had to do with the fact that they didn't paint figures, and there was really nothing to make them pop. I mean, back in the day, you had stickers and things like that to kind of give the little sparkle to it. But I think now, when you see like a big unpainted hunk of plastic, that definitely doesn't attract people to a figure.
And a
Here's a good
hollow,
question.
unpainted chunk of plastic.
That too, the shampoo bottle thing. Andrew, I hope I'm saying this right. Ron wants to know, what is your favorite Earthrise or Siege figure?
Hold on.
He's gonna get Jetfire.
Yeah.
That Prime is just the
Bee's knees.
Nightwing wants to know, can you review Dave?
Is there supposed to be a comma in there?
Next Maryland TF Con.
I was gonna say after we're done reviewing or after we're done broadcasting here, we could drop everybody out of the frame, and you two could be in frame, and you could record from your end and just put the video up on your channel.
Speaking of Maryland,
Well,
I wanted to get your take on this. What do you think it is about this area, especially like the Maryland, DC, Virginia, Jersey,
Government and military.
where all the collectors, especially like people on YouTube, like you and T, Bobby,
Ben,
that are all in this one
Take.
area. It's just like the Transformers.
Yeah.
So
collector
it's
capital of the world.
it's not all. It's also you also have to remember there are a lot of reviewers like PAW's in Richmond or outside Richmond, Virginia. There are a couple of Richmond reviewers. I don't know where MGO is. I want to say MGO's
Philly. He's
Yeah.
up there.
He's in
up-
Philly.
yeah.
Okay. Oh, I didn't know he was that close. Okay. I don't know. I think it's just that I don't know. It just
We're just
how it
better
worked
over
out.
here.
It's a weird thing though, isn't it?
And
So-
even better if
We're
you're a Mac.
So you got to remember, Optibotimus is also in California, and there are a couple of jobbies in LA. There are a couple of folks out that way. It's just population density, probably. And also, let's also face it, you have to be able to make a certain amount of money in order to afford not only the figures, but a place to have the figures and the equipment. And there's got to be a certain financial level
Right.
where you can afford to get the stuff to make the videos.
And steady content for channel growth, right?
Yes, and that's just in major metropolitan areas or around major metro areas.
My theory is that in places like, like Florida or California, that there's more distractions there. Whereas here, not so much. We got our toys, and that's about it.
Well, also, it's not really, especially if you're considering Baltimore, it's not the safest place in the world.
True.
So you're just going to stay inside.
Stay inside, watch a YouTube video.
Yeah.
You didn't even need a pandemic for that.
Well, it's also the heat. I mean, you think about the heat in Philly, Baltimore, DC, Virginia. It's getting a lot hotter than it used to be here. And we also have access to decent internet. I mean, we've got like my internet is gigabit. I have a gig down and gig up, or at least I am paying for a gig down and a gig up. But I mean, we also have decent
That's a
internet.
good point. Look at Robo with the Foosh. Like he had to drive 10 or 15 minutes to get a good signal so he could upload his videos every day. He just within the past 6 months got high-end internet or high-speed internet to his house, so he can actually live stream from the house, where before he had to drive to a destination to even upload his content.
Wow. Don't go to McDonald's for that. Their internet is slow as crap.
He's gonna review the internet connection at McDonald's.
All of the McDonald's are running off of what's called an MPLS, which maxes out at 10 megabits, maybe, because it's still running over the phone lines. All that stuff is still running over bare copper. So you do have to worry about distance. Like, how far is your McDonald's from a node? It's ridiculous. They did it the absolute cheapest way possible.
Oh, here's our next question.
I like the Grail question, actually. Someone,
we missed some.
That's actually, I think that was a very good question.
Let me go back up there to it.
I can't remember.
Here it is. Baltmatrix. Have you seen Indiana Jones? And no, I'm just kidding.
That's a good one.
So I do have a couple. A lot of the stuff from Victory would be considered Grail worthy. Mm-hmm. So like Deathsaurus, Landcross.
Ooh.
I actually had a KO of Landcross that lasted all of 2 days. So that was weird. What was a lot of the Japanese only series, like some stuff from Victory. I would love to get a hold of Road Caesar. I would love to get a hold of Landcross was Victory as well. I have a KO version of Star Saber, so I don't need that one. That's weird enough as it is. But yeah, Deathsaurus definitely. I'm trying to think. Die Atlas is a big one. I've always wanted to get a hold of that figure and see how it actually transforms. Sonic Bomber, I can pretty much figure out. I'm trying to think, like, what else? I've reviewed so damn much. And because I've gotten I've been very fortunate and I've been able to get a hold of a lot of stuff. So I don't have that many grails. It's mostly stuff that I haven't ever seen in person. I would say anything prior Ranger, which was MMPR in the Super Sentai. Like, I would love to get a hold of some of the older stuff from like the 80s, from the 80s, and maybe even some of the 70s stuff, because some of those designs for Mecha are really, really cool.
Leopardon.
No, I don't know. I think the SOC Leopardon, I've actually had a chance to play with that. That's an excellent set. If you could get a hold of a SOC from a couple years ago, that's a good one to get.
Actually, I think that one might be getting reissued.
All right, we got a couple more questions here. Do we want to? We'll rapid fire some of these.
Yeah, Chuck wants to know: did you get the Landcross reissue?
Landcross was reissued?
That's a no.
That would be a no.
This was a controversial. Oh wait, go ahead.
Oh yeah, I'll just moving down the line.
Trying to get through all of them.
That's a good question. I'll let you know when I figure it out.
So stay tuned. Continue watching his videos to find out more.
Probably, just to shorthand it, probably trying to tighten up some of the editing and trying to tighten up some of the talking and my talking points. I have a tendency to just blurt out stuff, and that doesn't make for good TV.
You tried that before, so would that be Titan Returns?
Yes.
It's getting late. I'm sorry.
Next question.
Is there going to be one that says, why is Gamora?
Do you think good toy reviews on YouTube affects or increases the value of the within the toy community?
Fans toys, definitely. I agree.
What do you mean good?
For third party, yes. I would say yes. It actually would, I think, increase demand because if a reviewer like myself or Emgo or Jobby says this is a great figure, then a lot more people are going to feel like, okay, I can spend the money on it. But if you a perfect example is that new mix studios, not studio series, ROTF
Devil
split.
Saver.
Yeah, Devil Saver split. A lot of people have really poo-pooed that figure, and it looks great, but I don't ever want to own it. So that's fine. That's fine. I don't want it. That you can deal with that hell yourself.
I had it before Jobby reviewed it, and then he reviewed it. My cousin watches Jobby, and he doesn't collect toys, but he just loves Jobby. And that's the thing is Jobby is like successfully saturated non-collectors. There's people that just watch his stuff for entertainment.
Did he fear for his sanity after watching that?
No, my cousin messaged me and said, "Do you?" He knows I have a shit ton of Transformers, and he's like, "Do you own this?" Like he was like asking me in like a very judgy way, and I was like, "Yes, Tyler, I do own it." And he's like, "Is it as bad as he said?" And I said, "That's subjective." Defending it.
All right, more questions. We have a question that's not for Balt, but for Leon. Or 30 wants to know what's up, and then he says, "Hey, what's up, Chuck?" So that's good. So that took care of itself. We didn't have to get involved with that one.
You did anyway.
I did. Yeah, I interjected myself. Let me see what else. That's not a question.
This is a comment of the night right there.
That is a comment of the night.
Let me see.
I saw there was one asking about Nicey.
Are you getting Nicey?
I am. I have it pre-ordered.
Cool.
I need to see how that figure ends up. Oh. Do you mean show?
You interpret it however you like.
That's just a whole nother hour-long podcast.
Yeah.
I would say I would say Beast Wars.
There you go.
That's
a surprising answer.
I think that's the right answer.
I agree with Joe.
Yeah.
I think we kind of covered that one.
Super Sentai and silly stuff from China.
and Korea.
And Korea, yeah.
Matt collects things from Korea too.
Oh, and then Lucas Brockman had one. Are you still thinking about doing a separate collector's channel that isn't for kids?
That's a good.
Okay.
That's a good ultimate question.
So this is interesting. So recently, actually May 12th is when I did this. I flipped my channel back to not for. So there are three options: not for kids, yes for kids. Decide each video. I was at 4 kids, and it was destroying me. It was just destroying me, absolutely annihilating me. So I flipped myself. Yeah, as 4 kids. So I flipped myself back the channel back to choose each video. And I went through all, and this is the reason I know how many videos I put up. I went through all 1,900 videos and manually set them based on some criteria. So if the figure showed up in a show, like a cartoon, it was set to 4 kids. Unless that cartoon is over 13 years old. Then all the collector's figures and like Masterpiece, Classics, Siege, Generations, that's all not for kids. Because those Hasbro's gone on state, has stated publicly, those are for collectors. Then for the Super Sentai and Tobot, those were automatically getting flagged as for kids, so I set those for kids. So that's why a bunch of my videos now have comments on them again.
What is it that flags it for kids? Is it bright, shiny colors? Is it a particular subject or a keyword?
They are not clear. It's all based on the mysterious algorithm. But there are some keywords, like if the word Tobot V, like all my Tobot stuff was flagged automatically.
Wow.
So there's stuff in there that's automatically getting flagged. And I go back about once a week now. Well, it's only been 2 weeks since I did this. I've gone back about once a week, and I just go through each of the videos and see, okay, did an algorithm set this for kids? Did an algorithm set this for kids? Did an algorithm? And if it does, then I'll flip it to for kids. But if it doesn't, I'm just leaving it alone. And I've talked to somebody who works out of DC, let's say, and they said that that is the best that I can do.
No, another one too. I know you've done some tech videos as well.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever thought about doing a separate channel just for?
I have. It's just time. Like,
yeah.
I mean, I have an hour commute each way as is, but ever since we've been sheltering in place, or whatever the hell this is called now, I've been working longer days. So I'm up at the same. I'm up a little bit later, but I'm sitting in front of the computer like an hour and a half earlier, and then I'm working an hour to an hour and a half later than I already was.
Yeah, your commute time turns into your work time.
Yeah, but as my son has been getting up at certain times, like also I'm having to get up and go away and, you know, not spend time with him, but take care of him and get him some food, do this, do that, like interact with my family, and just get away from the computer a little bit. Because Jordan, as you know, and Matt and Jordan, as you know, the ticket queue will not go away. If I get up for a few minutes.
definitely won't. And now more than ever, you know, it's I actually didn't tell you I changed roles. I'm now a business analyst, but
no, you told me that.
Okay, I couldn't remember whether I did or not. I still get called in to help folks with IT issues, and I was working till 5:30 today, helping set up a new contractor who told me she had a background in IT but didn't understand how to install Citrix Receiver. So I was I was like,
what?
Well, yeah, that was my response. She said, I called the help desk and they helped me set up the Microsoft Authenticator, but I can't get Citrix Receiver to run. And I was like, well, when you logged into our site, did you get any prompts to detect it? You know, did you go, well, they told me that's all they could do for now. And I'm like, I don't think that they just hang up on you.
Who's they?
Yeah,
I told you this.
I feel like there's a lot of people that are. I don't want to generalize, but I feel like there's a lot of people that are kind of opportunistic right now, and they're willing to say that I'm having technical problems as a way to kick back, which is unfortunate.
I don't have time to deal with that. I just tell it. I am fortunate that the company that I work for, all of my all my coworkers are good. I mean, I don't really have any complaints, because normally I say, if they send an email or I get a ticket, I'm like, okay, I'm contacting you. Let's get on a phone call. Let's get it done. Let's get you fixed. Let's get this taken care of. And people are just like, oh, wow. Like our company is small. Our team is small. And like, it's like, look, let's get done. Let's get you out of here. Let's get you working. Let's get this taken care of as soon as possible. And like, it's funny because you have people who come from a larger organization who, like, I remember a new hire starting and they're like, wait, I get a computer on my first day? And I'm like, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes. And they're like, I can actually use Chrome?
Yeah.
Yes. It's okay.
When I worked for a smaller company, it was interesting because you would do the thing where they'd get a laptop, an iPad, and a cell phone on the first day, and they were kind of shocked by that versus a larger company, it's like, well, you can apply for a stipend. That's one of the things that I'm dealing with now. It's like my position is a business analyst position, but there's still an IT element to it. And one of the issues we're having is telling people that in this new system, they're going to have to use their personal device in order to access the system. And some of these older guys, and also BG&E is union, so it's been fun. And guess who has to be the pitch man for that?
Can we use that system to tell people where they can find us?
We could. I think we could wrap up here before we start getting into work talk. Again, Balt, it's been a pleasure having you tonight.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Miss you guys.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, as soon as we go back to being able to meet up in person, I'm going to get a DMV area meetup set up. Hopefully, we can have a lot of folks come out for that because they're always a really good time. And for folks that aren't on TFW or the Facebook groups, if you're not a fan of the Figure Action page already,
not a fan, become a fan.
Become a fan. And when we do meetups, we advertise where we're going to be. The protocol for those, it's always a good time. Meet up with some like-minded individuals, share some toys,
pants.
Share a drink. Yeah, and always wear pants.
If you're crazy, stay home.
Exactly.
Or be entertaining at least.
Just
Exactly.
Just don't call up at 2 a.m. asking to transform a figure.
Yeah.
That happened once. I'll tell that one off air.
Oh.
So, God.
Re-rail Dave.
Yeah, re-rail Dave. Anyway, we'll get some where you ats real quick. Starting with a man, if you don't know how to Google, you're going to be very lost. Mr. T-Man 978, for folks that don't know where to find you.
You can find me here every Thursday evening at 9 p.m. Eastern on the Figure Action channel, or you can do like Extra Zero suggested and Google T-Man 978. No dashes, no hyphens, no spaces. T-Man 978.
Don't read the T-shirt.
No dashes.
No
Dashes.
And then a man who has some new photography to share. He's on Instagram. He's on PlayStation Network. True Star Screamer.
Oh, that's not me.
No. I'm pretty sure it's True Star Screamer on both platforms, well as on all platforms, including Twitter.
I am the True Star Screamer. So
Did your work for you. Matt, the parts supplier, where can folks find you at?
Don't type that. It's parts former everywhere that you care to type. Xbox Live, PlayStation Network, Instagram, and here with you people.
And then Joe Crab, looking like Forlom from the Star Wars movie Empire Strikes Back.
You mean Lobot?
Lobot, not Forlom.
I was gonna say.
You guys can look. This is
You
look
look like you're in stasis. Oh, what's happening right now?
Right now, I'm about to put a picture on the Figure Action Podcast Instagram, so that's where you can find me, and you can tell me if this is a nope or a dope. That's what the kids say now. I don't know if you guys have heard that or not. Nope or dope. Panel line Starscream.
I can't see it on camera.
Well, we'll see it on the Instagram.
We will see it on the Instagram.
Am I in like a?
I still cannot make out any of those panel lines, Joe.
I'm all pixelated, aren't I?
Yeah,
can see
a little bit. It
you're
looks
like,
cel shaded almost.
you're like one of those anime movies that I don't watch.
Yeah,
Is that coming with your constructor?
Ever since the pandemic, the internet's been shit. So.
Are you on Comcast?
No, I'm in Verizon Sun.
Oh.
So we have one internet provider and one provider only.
They have two little mice running
My
on
router
to power the internet.
They don't even have it running. They actually write little notes and give it to the mouse, and then they run it down and drop it off, and then come back.
And Baltmatrix.
That's all you're gonna get out of him.
And that's it. I'm waiting for the mouse.
Of course, you're on YouTube as Baltmatrix.
Yep.
But folks can also find you on Twitter. Did you have any other vlogs or anywhere else that folks can find you at?
You can find me on Facebook at Baltmatrix Reviews. I have an Instagram, but I don't think I've ever used it. I'll have to find that. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Yeah. Oh, Patreon. Patreon.com/Baltmatrix.
Yep. Very cool. And again, thank you so much for. So, of course, as for me, you can find me here every Thursday night with the Figure Action Crew, 9 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. You can find me on Instagram as Extra Zero. You can find me on Twitter at The Original Zero. PlayStation Network, Xbox Live is Extra Zero. There's a space between Extra and Zero on Xbox Live, and I've been playing some Mortal Kombat. Hit me up if you'd like to play. As for as for other social media, that about does it. Anyway, it's been a lot of fun tonight. Again, thanks to Baltmatrix. Thanks to the Figure Action Crew. It's been great hanging out with everybody, and we will see you all again, same place next week. Peace.
Good night, all. See ya.
See y'all.